Hello, I'm Bernard Hickey from interest.co.nz and welcome to a special housing report brought to you in association with Bank of New Zealand. Today we look at figures from Barfoot and Thompson on property sales and prices in April. Now, why bother with some figures from just one real estate agency chain? Well, Barfoot and Thompson is the biggest chain in the country and is the dominant player in the biggest market, Auckland. And it's also the first numbers out on actual sales and prices. So watch it quite closely. The Barfoot and Thompson figures for April show a fall in the volume of sales and in the average price from March. But remember, March was a particularly strong month in the context of the last 2 to 3 years. So we saw the number of sales drop to 723 here from 1,070 in March, and the average price was down about 6% from March. However, still about flat on where it was a year or so ago. Now, Barfoot and Thompson says that the March figure was exceptional, and it still sees underlying demand and a depth in that surge in March. Now, this is partly because we're seeing a skew to the central suburbs. That's where a lot of the activity is happening, where the increase is happening in both volumes and in price. So when I say central, we're talking about Mount Eden, Remuera, Epsom, St Heliers, Herne Bay, that sort of area. The fringes of Auckland, not quite so strong. West Auckland, South Auckland and East Auckland, out towards Howick, we're talking Manukau. Those areas are struggling. The volume of sales down about 20% and prices also down. So we have a bit of a two-tiered market going on here. Central Auckland, those established family suburbs, they're doing well. Obviously the more expensive houses, those on the fringes not doing so well. And you look at the numbers, you can see over a third of the properties sold in April were for more than $750,000. So what's going to happen now? Well, ASB has come out and said it expects prices in Auckland to rise between 4 and 6% in the next year, because when we do get migration into New Zealand, often it's into Auckland. There has also been migration from elsewhere in New Zealand to Auckland, some of it from Canterbury. There we have it for Barfoot and Thompson. The things to look out for in the next week, we'll see figures from quotable value, again national figures, but not quite so up to date with sales and prices. And the Real Estate Institute of New Zealand will have actual national sales figures later next week. On the interest rate front, the official cash rate is seen widely to be on hold at least until the end of this year, if not into early next year. However, migration remains weak. Some figures out today showing that net migration, we actually had net immigration, in part because the flow of New Zealanders out to Australia has increased again, some of which came from Christchurch. I'm Bernard Hickey. That was a special housing report brought to you in association with Bank of New Zealand.